What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and I am back with another toy review. We are looking at the DC Collectibles Arrow series Black Canary, or Sara Lance, because in the show, this is the first Black Canary, which is a throwback to the many, the many different Black Canaries that we've had in comics. In my universe, this is Dinah, because this is the best Black Canary figure that I've ever had. And I love Katie Lotz. She's just a great, ridiculously good actress, a sick dancer, and she's cute as heck, and I think she kind of embodies, she embodies what the Black Canary should have always been. This is one of the few on-screen redesigns that I'm like 1000% behind, because so much of the integrity of the original design is present here, and there's other things that just make it an awesome figure, and I'm going to tell you why. So, looking at the sculpt and the paint, the sculpt is phenomenal. They 100% captured the look, essence, feel of Katie Lotz as the Black Canary. I just can't stress it enough. It's phenomenal. But the only knock against this figure, and they do this often, is that she's rendered in a gray instead of black, with a gloss finish. But, I'm digging it still. I think they wanted you to be able to see all the details that were sculpted, and a lot of times you lose that when the sculpt is painted in black, But, I'm not even a huge fan of Arrow. I don't really like the show that much. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. There's things they do right, which are few and far in between, and then there's a lot that they do wrong. But, she was one of the things that I liked what they did with her. But, as far as the figure goes, there's just so much detail. This design is really well thought out, and I normally don't go for the biker chick designs, with the bustiers and leather everything, but somehow it just seems like it made perfect sense when it comes to Black Canary. And every single part, every detail, the buckles, the weathering on the boots, the weathering on her pants, on her gloves, the knee pads, different things like that. They're all so well sculpted and well painted that it's phenomenal. It's not often that, at least me, I don't often praise, TV shows for their reimaginings of characters, because, I've been hard on character designs for a lot of things, even in video games, and somehow they added all the little details that are necessary to make her a little bit more believable, and they still have design cues that kind of harken back to the original design of the Canary. I like all the pouches. I love the fact that she still has the bustier, and then the little jacket that doesn't look stupid. It doesn't look like she stepped straight out of a 90s comic book, and I don't say that in a negative way. I like that she has a mask, something that the Jim Lee version of the character had, but I've always wondered why Black Canary just puts on a wig and everybody's like, oh, it's a different person, and she doesn't wear a mask. And in the show, that's even problematic because Sara is blonde, and then she puts on a blonde wig, which is kind of like, huh? I don't know. Arrow has a lot of weird, dumb shit like that for people who don't know anything about comics. It kind of makes them feel like, I think that's who they're making the show for, so that they have their thing too, but overall, this design, though, it works. The mask, it's nice, even if it is kind of like they took it from the Batman and Robin. I still love it. All the paint is well applied. I mean, the hair is kind of goopy looking. I don't know. It's like she's got locks. And then you see that one big, it's like a brown splotch, and then that blonde hole in the middle. That's the only defect on mine. I mean, there's like little nicks and scratches in places, but it's not really sloppy. And You have to really get up close on it to nitpick about that stuff. And from far away, though, or from, arm's length, she just looks really damn good. I love the idea of that crisscross pattern that you see, kind of like a stitch going down her legs. That's a throwback to the net stockings that she used to wear. Um, it's just a well thought out design. And, on top of all of what I just pointed out, she has ball jointed shoulders and legs. So, I can actually move her around and make her look like she is a fighter. I mean, we could have only dreamed of doing this with the DCUC version of the Black Canary, and I'm pretty sure that all of the DC Direct versions prior to this one, they all had, the H joint where they only had the front and back movement and no side to side, because typically DC Directs didn't have the full range of motion. So, I'm super geeked. I remember watching the show, and when I saw her, I was like, damn, she's cool. She's going to make an awesome action figure. That was like the first thought once I saw this costume and saw, the actress fighting and stuff. And I was just like, man. And she doesn't look stupid next to, your DCUCs. I mean, you can obviously tell one is more of a movie, live action look, and the other one is more of a comic book look. But there are aspects of both that, it lends itself to switching it around. If you're not OCD about your, action figure collection and what you display where and with whom. I want to do a quick comparison of her to the DCUC Black Canary. I loved the figure, and then I hated it because, she can't do stuff. You can't move her legs much. And at one point, I even had customized her where I took the lower half of a WWE figure and put that as her lower legs, and it didn't fit perfectly. So I just switched it back and was like, she'll just be on display like that. Now, having this one, it's nice to see she's a little bit taller, which, that in itself is one of the only the two flaws this figure has is the paint splotch that I showed you just a few minutes ago, and then her height. She's too tall. She should be short, because even in the show, Katie Lotz is a tiny person, and it would have been nicer if she was smaller and still had all these details and was still a badass, because, I mean, Dinah can kick Ollie's ass any day, and that's her thing. Whereas, in the show, that's not so much how it's handled. But we're talking about the figure. The mask looks awesome. You just immediately you can see the parallels, and you can see the differences. No mask, no choker on the newer one, but the mask. The mask is the big thing. The mask actually really works. Sometimes when I'm looking at this face, I wish that she had a kind of like a smirk, because the actress often had this kind of cocky, or wicked kind of smirk, like, she's enjoying herself. Once again, when you look at the pants, you can see what I'm talking about. The crisscross pattern that the stockings created is kind of mirrored in the stitching that's going up the pants legs of the, the show version. And then, like I said, she's got ball-socketed legs, so she can actually kick and look like a fighter, which is the thing we all wanted to do so much with the other, the DCUC Black Canary. And it pained me, because I play with my toys. I'm not even gonna lie. I play with them. I come up with plots, or I read, read through books and then turn around and, try to recreate, my version of it. And I play around with camera angles and shit, because I'm a dork for film, that's one thing. I'm a dork for superheroes, that's another thing. And I want to see all this stuff that we've read in 3 dimensions, That's my draw to live action superhero dramas and stuff. And it's also the draw to collecting action figures. Now you see I've got 3 different media versions of these characters. You've got the Arkham Origins Deathstroke, which is the video game. You got the DCUC comic version of modern, Oliver Queen or Green Arrow. And then you have the TV series version of Black Canary. And I don't care what other people say. A lot of people are so OCD about this that it's ridiculous. But just from a standpoint of having your figures, they don't look bad together. I can put them together in a setup and it doesn't look horrible. So I know some people will think differently, but I don't have the OCD issues that some folks have. I like how she looks next to my more comic book oriented figures because the design fits. It's a well thought out modern costume. Now her accessories. This is an area where this figure kind of falls flat, but in the show she really didn't have many weapons or anything that you saw her fight with. Uh, she just has the staff, and then she has this sonic generator or whatever you call it, sonic bomb, sonic whatever. It's the Canary Cry. They they have metahumans in the show, but they kind of dance around the fact that she has this metahuman ability, and they made it a technological thing. Whatever. It's going in my box of shit because, like I said, this is Dinah in my universe. So she has the cry. The staff that she has, right out of the box, the way it's packaged, the ends of the staff are in the plastic behind the blister. So when I was trying to pull that out, one of them popped off. One of the ends popped off. It should look like that. It's something I never understood why they still do this. I don't know why they don't just tape it to a flat area in the blister and just call it a day. But I replaced it with the Marvel Select Gambit staff. The other problem I have with this staff that she came with is that it falls through her hands. It's just so, kind of lame and kind of, I don't know, it just doesn't work. So I gave her the Marvel Select Gambit staff, which fits perfectly in her hands, and it makes her look more like she knows some martial arts. So have some kung fu, biatch. That's what she would easily be thinking for, in battle. But I don't know, little tweaks make the figure better in the accessory department. As far as mimicking what you see in the show, they do a good job. Things look appropriate, but change is in order. As far as her articulation goes, she's got a decent amount of movement. Uh, there's a lot of ball joints and disc swivels and standard DC collectibles fare. She can't really look up very much. I mean, I don't know why that is, but I guess no, it's probably because of her hair. That's about as much as she can look up. Um, she doesn't really have problems looking side to side. That's how much she can look down. Um, I don't have any issues with that. I don't expect characters with all this hair to be doing all this dynamic head stuff. I mean, it would be nice if she had a little bit more, neck movement, maybe make the neck a barbell joint, and then she would have been able to do more, but whatever. Like I said, she can do left to right. She can kind of look up and down. She can move her arm out to the side that much, which is perfect. You really don't need that much more. She has a swivel at the elbow and a bend as well. For some sculpts, it works. I don't typically like it that much. She can move her arm straight up that much at her side. If you press it, you can go a little bit further. Her arms go down at the side that much. I didn't chance any of the pressing because she does have some clear joints, but it feels like a lot of it is made of better material. It's a different grade, She can twist that much left and right. And she's afforded that via her diaphragm joint, which gives her a decent amount of a little bit of side to side. She can bend backwards that much, which is like nothing. And she can bend forward even less, which is like nothing again. But, oh well. I guess they can't all be winners, not 100%. Leg movement. She can move her legs out to the front that much. You can kind of increase it a little bit much or a little more if you fiddle with it. She can move her leg out to the side like that. Once again, if you fiddle with it, you can kind of increase it, but it wasn't holding for the sake of the picture, so I just took it the way it is. She has double jointed knees, so she can kneel down, pull off really cool jump kicks and such. She has a point. She can point her toes as well as ankle pivot, which is nice. So, she can actually hold up her own weight. And even though I have the stand back there, she's holding up her own weight. And once again, sickle foot. So for some of these moves, it doesn't look so bad when she, if you pose her kicking someone, it makes her kicks look a little bit more professional. And I dig that. And then we finally have a high-kicking Black Canary figure. It makes me so happy because it's the thing I've been missing from my JSA and my Justice League and from my Green Arrow collection. So I'm happy. The bottom line, this is another stellar release from DC Collectibles. You can see that from the paint and even the articulation, and just the sculpt, that you're getting what you paid for. This is a $20+ figure. I think she's 24 something because she's at your comic book stores. And it's worth it. It doesn't feel like they cheaped out on anything. The joints feel sturdy, even though there are still clear joints in here. It's like I complain about the lack of this with Hasbro, and they do tend to up their game when it comes to the movie stuff, but overall there's a lot of figures that don't 100% properly represent their comic book counterpart, because little things are completely discarded in the pursuit of a cheaper way of creating the character. And here, it's a unique sculpt. No reused parts. How is it that they're able to do this, but Hasbro is always saying, and Mattel, they're all saying, oh, it's so expensive, we just can't do it. It's bullshit, But I'm just happy to finally have a Black Canary that can move, that doesn't have super tiny, digits and limbs and such, because like the arms on the DCUC version is so tiny. She looked very fragile, whereas this version, not so much. She actually looks, the part, and she looks like she could get shot at and not necessarily die. She's got a pretty decent vest that looks thick, possibly hiding armor under there if necessary, but I mean, she's supposed to be so good that she wouldn't need all that, so I don't know. But all in all, like I said, I'm pretty happy with this. I love the sculpt, I love the paint, I love just about every little detail on this character, because this figure represents a very well done version of the character. Although in the show they fucked up a lot of things, this would be a good Canary to either sit on a movie shelf or to supplement your JSA or your updated Justice League. So anyway, pick her up if you see her. This is my story and I'm sticking to it. I am Strident. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace outside.